Hello there, how are you? Welcome back to How I Did It. Well, sorry about that. We had a little break in our programming, but now I'm back at it. As you remember from the last episode, I went ahead and glued and pin nailed this floor into place. Now it's just a matter of sweeping off any debris and getting it coated with 2 coats of black. Now, I learned that you're better off using a less expensive, less thick paint on the 2 black coats. Number one, it dries quicker. You don't end up with that real thick, painty residual feel, if that makes sense. This ended up working, but it was much more difficult. Now, as you can see, it's probably, I think this particular night out here at the off-grid barn, the pups woke me up. I think it was like 3:30. They were hollering that there was something outside they needed to go get. So I'm painting in the middle of the night. I mean, you'll see later on where the sun starts coming up and things lighten up a little bit more. And upstairs I only have 1 light mounted. So obviously it was not the best footage, but at least the footage works. So 2 coats of black, 1 in the middle of the night. I came back later that day and put the 2nd coat on. And then I left it sit for, it was about a day and a half to really set up firm before I started applying the white paint with the technique to make it look like old gray barnwood. So here again, it's redundant painting with a roller, but there is the finished product of 2 coats. Sorry about it being so out of focus. Again, low light, my camera just did not want to get focused in, and the sun is just starting to come up, so it was pretty good timing. Now here I'm just showing where I used a plastic trash bag to line my pan. Everything goes into the trash bag and out to the trash, clean up to snap. So here the next day I'm starting with the technique again. It was late at night, it was dark, the overhead lighting was not enough to really get a very good perspective of what I was doing, but I started out using a plastic drywall knife, and I ended up changing over to a 4-inch metal drywall knife, and it made all the difference in the world. Now, I had talked about the black paint. I should have used a thinner paint. Well, that holds very true for this top coat as well. The key with this technique is being able to take off almost as much paint as you have put on. So by using a really thick paint, you don't paint it on solid. You'll see here it's just minimal coverage. You don't want big blobs of white paint anywhere. And if I had used, say, the bottom of the line Lowe's white paint, or any bottom of the line paint, I ended up using, Sherwin-Williams top of the line, and let me tell you, it increased the workload on this exponentially. Multiple scrapes to get this paint off, having to be careful of how thick I put it on. I mean, the learning curve on it was pretty good. So the key is, if you're going to use the expensive thick paint, use it for the black base coat. However, I found that the thinner paints will serve you much better. Number one, they're going to dry quicker. You'll get, because it's primed, you'll get a good coverage that you need to get the barnwood effect that, well, I was particularly going for. Using the thicker, more expensive paste just bumped up the cost and just increased the application time. I would say from start to finish, there was the floor installation, the painting it black was another day, the white paint on it was the third day, and then I didn't film me painting on the polyurethane, the water-based polyurethane clear coat. The nice thing about the water-based polyurethane clear coat, no sanding necessary, it goes on smooth, and it doesn't yellow in sun. And up here on the hayloft, I don't think that that will be an issue. But you can see here on the right of the screen where I had first started and how it's much darker, a lot more of the area is filled in. Where I'm doing it now, how it's more barnwood looking-ish. So probably the third tip is don't start in like an obvious visual area. I thought, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake. Go to an area that people won't see right off the bat. Now this last little section I took back to real time just so you could get kind of a perspective on how it actually goes, how long it takes, and then the true technique involved. Again, use the metal drywall knife, make it a 4-inch one. Don't worry about having perfect symmetrical brushing and drag marks back with your drywall knife. And then the other thing on your drywall knife, take time in between and keep the built-up paint cleaned off of there. It makes things go much smoother. And I really believe had I used a thinner paint, it would have went much quicker. I think it would have even came out better than it did. Now I am happy, totally happy with how it came out, and I don't think the video of the final product that I shot really does it the justice, and I think that just goes back to lighting. Maybe when I get some different lights upstairs, or if I get a different light for my camera, I can reshoot the finished product or the video of it. Plus that'll give you a look at it with the polyurethane on it. And again, the polyurethane, I didn't go for a gloss, I went for a satin. That way it would be a nice subdued finish. Overall, the project was time consuming, but very much worth it. It's just something new, it's something different, and there is the final product. Alrighty then, I want to thank you all for stopping by. Have an absolutely wonderful and blessed week. I'll see you next time on How I Did It.